They like to claim the left doesn't have conspiracy theories. And I see this argument all the time. It's just not true. The left believes insane conspiracy theories as much as the right does. You know, so right now we have this story. Far left internet thinks Mayor Pete is a secret agent. I'm not kidding. You search Twitter and people think Pete Buttigieg is deep state CIA infiltrating the Democratic Party. He worked for McKinsey. That proves he worked for the CIA, they say. Oh, wow. Here's one. CIA has paid millions to a consulting firm with help in reorganization. Is that it? Pete Buttigieg worked for a very high-profile consulting firm that the CIA hired once. Therefore, Pete Buttigieg clearly is a deep state operative sent to upend the Democrats and prevent what? Biden from winning? What do you think Buttigieg is supposed to be doing? He's polling at 7%. But sure enough, they think Buttigieg is a deep state spy. Let me tell you something. I think it's really funny when they like to rag on conservatives and the right saying they believe all these conspiracy theories. And then you see like the high profile pundits say, you know, the left doesn't really have something like this. Excuse me. I was accused of being a CIA agent all of the time. These people are nuts. During Occupy Wall Street, one dude was marching around just making things up, claiming that somehow I made $80,000 off Occupy Wall Street, which was literally not true. I was broke and homeless. And other activists were like, what are you talking about, dude? He's like sleeping in a tent. No, man, he's got 80,000 as a very specific number, too. $83,000 he was going around saying. I was doing a speaking event. The guy shows up and says, where's the money? This is the problem, okay? They believe in weird hippy-dippy crystal crap, okay? They got the same problems as everybody else. That you look, they want to act like conspiracy theorists are on the right because establishment mainstream Democrats protect the left. But at least now they're pointing out far left internet thinks Mayor Pete is a secret agent. You know why? Because this time they're targeting the crony Democrat establishment candidate. Uh-oh, Daily Beast to the rescue to point out, no, Pete Buttigieg is not a CIA agent working with the deep state to take over the Democrats and prevent Bernie Sanders or whatever from winning. But I suppose I should read some of this. The Daily Beast says, the world is on fire. But for an increasingly vocal segment of extremely online politicos, there is a greater geopolitical concern hanging over the election. The fear that Pete Buttigieg is secretly an asset, officer, or agent of the Central Intelligence Agency. That's right. Forget QAnon. Pete Buttigieg. Oh, man. How cool would this be? Can I, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hire someone to write QAnon fan fiction, and we'll make this really cool thing where like Q is like, wearing like a dark trench coat and like a hat, and Pete Buttigieg is like coming after him. And like he's the main villain. Pete Buttigieg, the main villain. As Q tries to fight the deep state on behalf of Donald Trump, Pete Buttigieg works to stop him. That'd be great. The conspiracy theory that Buttigieg is a CIA plant has been congealing in the internet's fever swamps for as long as profiles of the young candidate have fixated on a biography that, to the conspiracy-minded, seems almost suspiciously clean. The perceived threats of neoliberal imperialists and the deep state converging in the unlikely form of a dweebish Midwestern mayor. That's right. He's too perfect. He's not perfect. He's like generic. He's one of the many intelligence community operators working in government. Steve Poikonen, host of the YouTube vlog series Slow News Day, said confidently in an April episode titled, Pete Buttigieg, CIA Democrat. In a 13-minute video delineating the conspiracy theory, Poikonen breaks down what he sees as Buttigieg's Harvard to Oxford educational pipeline, his service as a Navy intelligence officer in Afghanistan after a stint at McKinsey & Co., his fellowship at the Truman National Security Project, and the more than 200 national security and intelligence figures who have endorsed his candidacy, including the former head of the National Clandestine Service and agency's former deputy director. Listen, man. I'm not a fan of the permanent government concept, but Pete Buttigieg is not likely a CIA agent. Let me explain to you how it works. I really, really hate the conspiracies because people think like, Fox News forces people to lie and the far left media tells people to must do. Hold on. Okay? They complain about journalists working for like Russian state media. No, what they do is they find someone who already believes and says what they want to say and they hire them. Why is Pete Buttigieg being supported by intelligence agencies? Because Pete Buttigieg's opinions align with what the intelligence agencies want, not because he works for them. Pete Buttigieg steps up and says, I think we should have boots on the ground in the Middle East. And lo and behold, the CIA says, I like this guy. I really like this guy. That's it. That's really it. There's no need for a conspiracy, okay? You have a bunch of candidates. They're trying to figure out where to carve their hole out to make themselves seem unique. You got Tulsi Gabbard saying no regime change war. Well, the establishment doesn't like that. And then Buttigieg is trying to figure out what makes him unique, and he's going for the mainstream corporate moderate Democrat type, saying, perhaps we do need soldiers in the Middle East. And he happens to say what the intelligence agencies want. Look, I get it. He worked for McKinsey. He did these things. Sure, it's possible. Lots of things are possible, but there's no reason to play the game. Who cares? If Pete Buttigieg has bad opinions, talk about his bad opinions. Don't play the stupid is he the CIA game. I'll tell you what. When I was working for Vice, these crazy far-left activists started tweeting that I was working for the CIA, and someone in Venezuela saw that, thought it was real, and I had to flee the country. These people are nuts. They believe insane conspiracy nonsense, okay? It doesn't matter if there's a conspiracy about the deep state or not. When it comes to Pete Buttigieg, it matters. If he goes on stage and says, we want war or we want a presence in the Middle East, then you argue against the idea, and it doesn't matter if the CIA put him there because you're arguing the idea. What I really can't stand about all conspiracy theories is that it passes the buck off of what we should be really arguing about. There was one story that came out the other day I criticized. They said AOC liked a tweet by Russian state media, and my eyes rolled so hard I got dizzy and fell down. They were talking about Rania Kalik, an anti-war progressive who has a company which received funding from Ruptly, which is funded through Russia Today, which is Russian state media. And I don't care, not one bit. I care about Rania's ideas. If she puts out a video saying, here's what I think, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh yeah, but you're Russia. That's stupid. That's literally what the establishment left has been doing the whole time to Donald Trump. Some news comes out and they go, yes, but that news came from someone in Ukraine who actually likes Russia, therefore it's not true. No, it isn't. Okay, if you've got a document, it's signed, we argue about the document and whether or not it's legit. We don't simply say Russia. But that's all they tend to do. So this falls in line with a long history of deflection that doesn't actually get to the core problems. You got a problem with Rania Kalik, anti-war progressive, calling out the U.S., imperial machine or whatever? Then talk about the U.S. imperial machine, why you think she's wrong, and stop complaining that her company received funding from a company that's funded by Russia. And it's so secure and stupid. Because, so here's the thing. When I went, what really frustrates me is I went to Sweden. I get a donation from Paul Joseph Watson, and the left starts hooting and hollering about how I'm working for InfoWars or something. Dude, the dude donated to my GoFundMe. What am I going to do about it? But sure enough, I get these fringe lefty journalists, this is a BuzzFeed guy, saying, you planned the whole stunt, didn't you? Nope. I woke up, went to the deli, got a sandwich, came home, saw the tweet from Paul, tweeted at him, he tweeted back, and then he's like, okay, I'll donate to your GoFundMe. That's about it. No real conspiracy. It was literally what he said. And they actually said, they demanded I turn over my DMs. And I was like, I'm not giving you private messages. I would never have a source again. Who's going to want to do an interview with me if I'm passing out their private details and messages to other people? And so I was told, well, we'll find them either way. I'm like, okay, you do your thing, you lunatics who believe in these crazy conspiracy theories. So let me wrap this up, okay? I'm not going to do a big deep dive on Pete Buttigieg. I don't care. I don't think he's a great candidate. I think he's, I respect him for his service. I will always respect people who actually want to lead the country, the executive branch, and actually know what it's like to be on the ground and work in certain areas. Tremendous. I defer to the expertise. Pete Buttigieg, in my opinion, is a generic Democratic candidate, not a CIA plant. The CIA could do a much better job if they wanted to plant someone in the Democratic Party, but they don't even need to plant anybody. It doesn't make any sense, okay? The dude apparently said that at one point, they claimed he said he failed a CIA interview or something. So what? If somebody wanted to run for office, we have tons of former CIA officers who are literally in Congress. You know what, man? If you don't like Buttigieg for what he's pitching, you talk about the problem of what he's pitching. I don't know what your complaints are really, other than he's got support from rich people and he says moderate things that moderate Americans agree with. If that's your problem and you're going to lose, I guess throw the Hail Mary and accuse him of working for the CIA. But guess what? That won't work on moderates either. No one's going to sit around and be like, really? He worked for the CIA? Better not vote for him. In fact, most Americans might be like, wow, he worked for the CIA. I respect that. What do you think the average American's going to think? He's a guy who served the country, therefore he's bad? So if you're preaching to the left, you don't need to. You've already got your Bernie Sanders. There's no reason to smear Buttigieg as a CIA agent. Anyway, I'll wrap this one up. The point is, I want to talk about this mostly because I'm sick and tired of hearing the left has no conspiracy theories. They have tons of conspiracy theories. They think everyone's a spy. They think everyone's a cop. They think Pete Buttigieg works for the CIA. I get it, man. You got fringe wackos on every side. Stop pretending that your side is perfect. I got one more segment coming up. This next segment, I had to push back because of breaking news earlier, but I'll see you all in a few minutes.